Hello, I'm Michael Graham. I'm here in Front Royal Election 2020, and we have a very special person with us today. Unfortunately, I know she really misses being out on the campaign trail. This is Latasha Thompson. She was elected, 2 years ago, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, how is it not having to go out there and beat the streets?
That's good. I have time to do something else right now. But that was a really busy time. I did enjoy meeting everybody, but it was very busy. And I couldn't imagine doing that right now during COVID. And
it must be.
People are really weird about if you're going to come in or not come in, sit on the porch,
Right.
or in that kind of thing. But I'm grateful for all the people that are out there doing it. We have a lot of really good candidates.
Yeah, I think we have something like 11 total. How many people were running when you were running?
I don't remember.
I think it was around
about
six.
Yeah, I think
it was six.
Yeah.
So we're almost doubled the amount that's really coming out.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely wonderful to have that many choices.
Yeah, it is.
I love it.
Well, Latasha, now it's funny because after 2 years, and we might have a whole new council coming in.
Practically, yeah.
Practically. So you're going to be the wise one on the council. What do you think about that?
I think that's hilarious. There's so much more. There's so many things I don't know still.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful that there were other people that were there when I got there that I could kind of nudge and ask questions and things like that. And I'd hope to be able to do that for the incoming council members.
Well, they're going to be, I think if there's a chance it can be all new ones, and they're just kind of like you were.
I could, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be interesting.
Yes, has it been interesting so far?
So far, yes. I mean, just seeing the sheer number of candidates that are out there and the different groups, and you have like Joe, who's in two of the groupings. You have Bruce and Daryl who have teamed up on the independent stream. It's absolutely wonderful.
Well, they're all supposed to be independent.
I mean, of course,
right?
everyone is independent.
This is a nonpartisan
election. Yes, it's a nonpartisan election.
Yes,
Local elections
yes.
are, but
because you ran as a nonpartisan.
right,
person,
exactly.
right?
Yes, most people did. So. Yeah, so now we have the Republican Party has some people. We've got the Beer Party, and we have those that are strictly independent altogether. And to see the crossover has been great. So, yeah, I'm excited. They're a great group of people.
Yeah, I don't think I think we almost can not lose.
Right.
I think if a couple get in there might be a little tough, but I think that we have some great candidates. Well, Latasha, let me ask you, because you went on to the council for the first time.
Yes.
What did you expect? I mean,
So
when you went on there? I mean, now you can actually think from, okay,
Yes.
This is what I thought I was going to
Right.
get into. This is what it was really like, and then we'll kind of move forward. What do you think it can be? So let's
Yes.
talk about when you walked in, you were
Yeah.
elected, and there you are, Councilman
Oh,
Thompson.
yes. So, walking in, I thought I could change the world, or at least my little corner of the world. I was going to, there was all these things I wanted to do. And then you get there, and there's things that are kind of handed to you that you're going to do.
Oh.
And you can't necessarily, I won't say you can't focus on your goals, but in the past 2 years, like what we've had with the scandals and things, I mean, there were goals that we did concentrate on. We accomplished a lot considering what we were dealing with the scandal and the community and how outraged everybody was. When I came onto council, I was not expecting to deal with lots of lawsuits and all these scandals and all of these things. Not at all. I thought I was, I don't know. I thought I was going to be some sort of superwoman, I suppose. But it's been interesting. So right now, presently, we're going through this shift that we're doing, and then hopefully starting with the new council, because this year's almost over, right? We can start focusing on more community-driven items that bring the community together.
Right. This has been a very tough time for our community in many different ways.
It absolutely has.
And it didn't really help having the largest scandal in the history of Virginia right in our backyard.
Right. No, not at all.
You've probably had to deal with a lot of that.
Yeah, you've got the scandal and COVID. I think those are the two biggest things that have happened the past 2 years.
Can you
What's
imagine
bigger than
anything
COVID?
else? Yeah, what else could happen? What do you think could happen? I shouldn't say
Do
that.
not say that. You're going to jinx us or something. Then I don't know, the murder hornets come out, apparently.
Oh, really?
That's next, yeah. They're in Washington State right now.
Oh, they got a lot of ways to come.
They
before
do.
Get to us. In a winter, I think a winter in between.
We can hold out.
But
yeah.
one of the issues I know it just come out also is this the drug problem that we have in town. I guess that would be the third big thing that I guess you're really dealing with also.
That is a huge thing, and it touches on different levels. And I can't think of one person who can say that they haven't been affected in one way or another, either as being an addict, having a parent that was an addict, or a child that was an addict. Everybody has been touched in some form or fashion. Part of the problem I think that we have here is that we don't have programs, and a lot of programs and activities for our young people to do where they can just go and kind of drop in. I've been happy to say I've been working with a group that's working on developing a really great and robust community center that would target those kids middle school and up. And I think that's about the time that the kids start veering off and experimenting and getting into more trouble is in middle school. And you hear it all the time, idle hands are the devil's playground. So bored kids find things to do.
Yes.
Are they productive? Maybe. But they have a lot of time to do the bad things. They really do. And COVID has unfortunately made that even more possible because our middle schoolers and our high schoolers are only going one day a week. So now they have like almost 4 free days essentially.
Yeah.
And depending on how mom and dad work, there's not much supervision, because I know like when the kids turn 13, you can leave them home by themselves. I'm not sending you to
I think
daycare.
they call them latchkey kids.
Yeah,
right?
I was a latchkey kid,
Yeah.
younger than 13, but I don't think my mom can get in trouble for that now. But it's just more opportunity for them to get into more stuff, and because mom and dad can't always be
Right.
there, they have to work, right? And you don't want to pay extra money for daycare if you don't have to.
Right.
So yeah, the community center idea is we'd like to fundamentally keep that free of charge, where the kids can drop in, have it somewhere located in town so they don't have to depend on rides to get there,
Sure.
and that kind of thing. So I'm excited about that. These are more the things that I want it to be
Well, wait,
doing.
before we,
yeah.
before we get too far,
Okay.
I know. You're a politician now, and I know
Oh,
you want to get
no.
your points across now. So let's go back and talk about a little bit about you. You've been at Trex now?
Yeah,
For how long have you been at Trex?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
And when you started your career, I mean, is that where you kind of like started? I mean,
Pretty
you could be
much.
over 30 right now, so you must have started when you were 15, right?
Yeah, Mike's really working on these brownie points. It's working for him right now. Yeah, I'm like
Okay,
30, sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been working there for 15 years, and I started there in 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been that long.
Yeah. Well, can you draw any parallels between starting a new job, which you went in there didn't know anything about
Right.
Trex? I barely know about Trex. I know they're composite decking, right?
Yes, correct.
And what are they made out of?
So we have boards, and we take recycled, like grocery bags and so forth. The kids have a program at the schools where they can win things by donating these bags, and wood chips or whatnot, and some colored dye, and they make this product. And then of course we have more advanced products too, but a very good sustainable green business.
Yeah, and it lasts a lot longer than wood, right?
Yes, you have a 25-year to lifetime guarantee, depending on the materials. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we were very fortunate when I was involved. They made a tremendous donation to us, in which the picnic tables, you see the picnic tables
Yep.
all around the community, they were donated. The Trex materials were donated, and our people put it together. So
Yeah.
after 14 years, they're still around.
Yes, and they're an awesome organization to work for, and a very giving organization.
Yeah.
I headed up our United Way fundraising efforts last year, and we exceeded what we had done the previous year. And we have this friendly competition with Valley Health, and we beat them every year.
Oh, do you really?
Yes.
Well, good. We need to beat them a couple times, because they have been so nice lately, I don't think.
We have this friendly competition where the
Okay.
CEOs,
Well, I'm glad it's
yeah,
friendly.
it's fun.
So you've been there 15 years. You're the expert on the composite
I don't know about the expert.
material. So how were you able to take some of that and become a council person?
It was the same situation. I walked in open-minded, ready to get to work, and then you learn, and as you learn, you take on more, and you do more, and you just try to do the best that you can do for, in the case of Trex, for your company.
Right.
In the case of being on local government for your community, Trex does both, fortunately. So I get to see impacts
Oh, good.
from working there too.
Well, do you think is a lot of difference between the way government's run versus how companies are run?
A little.
Oh, really?
There's a
Is
little.
that what you just learned now? That you're
No. I knew that.
You're the Yoda of Front Royal now.
The
That's what
Yoda.
you're gonna be.
Oh, no.
You're going to be the Yoda of Front Royal come this new council comes in.
Yeah, no. We're all about, we tighten our budgets where we can. And you just work with what you have. And it's just like being at home, right?
Right.
You can't You can't spend more than you have, right?
I'm not supposed to.
Should not.
Doesn't turn out too well when I do that.
Yeah, no. So, you just keep things going and you just try to do the best that you can
You're right.
for your stakeholders.
But you're a very busy person, aren't you? You were telling me earlier that you're a mom. How many kids?
4, so we have his, mine, and ours. We're a
Okay.
blended family, and there's
Okay.
4 total kids, and they're 24, 20, 19, and 9.
9.
Yes.
A little surprise.
Yeah, the 9-year-old's the wild card. And we have 3 grandchildren.
No, you're,
Yeah.
you're a grandma too?
Yep, one of them turns 1 today. Aria turns 1 today.
So you're a big corporate executive. You're a
Oh,
town
I don't-
council
I'm not an executive
person.
for
You're a mother
Yeah.
and you're a grandmother.
Yeah.
And you also go to school, right? You're a
Yes, on
student?
my last class.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank goodness, yes. Thank goodness. I took the scenic route.
Okay.
Is
Oh,
what
nice.
I did. I took the scenic route in just about everything. Just a little detour here, a little detour there. But it's working out. And you just, to manage those things, you time block. Like, I'm going to spend this many hours here, this many hours there.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, virtual learning threw me for a loop.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that seems what all the kids are doing now, right?
They are. Well, yeah. So my mother-in-law lives with us, and she's super high risk.
Yeah.
So we were not sending him to school. And I was like, oh, virtual learning. 9-year-old me, 9-year-old son,
Yeah.
2 different people. 9-year-old me would wake up, do this, and then get on the call just to tell my teacher that I did it so I could
right.
get the stars. And he's kind of like,
Yeah.
do I have to? And so we're still doing some adjustment. Even now, I think we're at week 5, and we're still adjusting with motivating him, essentially, is what this is.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm kind of glad I'm kind of out of that
Yeah.
particular part because.
You're lucky in that regard.
Well, no, I have a son. I have a son who's kind of doing the roundabout way also,
Oh, okay.
and he's almost finished. He has about 12 more hours left, and it's all virtual now.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a person who likes to be engaged and do things.
Gotcha.
And it's really tough for him. I mean, he's almost finished coming down the pike, but this is a new world. I mean,
It is.
It's a new, different world and everything. All right, well, that's great. And you're a busy person, and do you have time to do all this?
Of course.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Of course.
Yeah, no. I think you know what that old saying is, right?
Yeah. I can't stand to be bored.
Right. Okay.
Sitting still is hard for me.
Okay. Well, that's good. And now that school's out of the way, you'll probably even have more time.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, this is the last week of the last
Last
class.
week. Well,
Yes.
congratulations.
So I'm
Thanks for that.
super excited.
Okay, so you walked into council
Uh-huh.
fully not knowing what to expect.
You're right.
Okay. Now you've gotten through 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you're about to have maybe a brand new council that's going to start off,
Yeah.
and you're going to be the wise one, like the Yoda of the council. And so now, what do you want to do? Let's talk about it. You talked about our community and all this really difficult stuff. I mean, 3 of the most
Right.
difficult things between drugs, pandemic, and the scandal.
Right.
So I'm ready. I'm tired. I'm ready for good stuff to happen.
Yeah.
What do you want to see? What do you want to see done?
Let's see. So we talked about the drugs in the community. I really want to work with Roanoke was another city that was able to come through and fully embrace the different aspects of their community. So they got in the healthcare, they got in their local government. All these different people came together to form the resources and to help those who had already become addicted. So there was some prevention and some helping those who have already gone down that path. And I think that we could replicate that here in Front Royal. Another thing that we hear a lot about in the news and even a little bit now locally is just our police. And, we're hearing about our police.
Yeah.
And I, of course, know that our police department here in Front Royal is amazing, and they do a good job with community policing. We did about a week or 2 ago, I think it was, there was an article about the expenses that were incurred for different demonstrations
Sure.
and so forth. And of course, we never want to hinder anybody's First Amendment rights. And I was talking to some other citizens about other ways that we have done this in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently in the past, we had a volunteer organization, which sounds amazing to me. And if you have volunteers are working out of the goodness of their hearts. So you can reduce expenses by placing these volunteers to help out with different things like parades or demonstrations. And all of the demonstrations in Front Royal here, whether it was the anti-socialism rally, the bridge, the different marches and things. Everything has been absolutely peaceful on all fronts. So that's been good.
No, I got to say we've haven't. I actually marched in the first two.
Oh yeah.
And
I was in the
we
first
had
one.
1,200 people. I mean, 1,500 people, and it was about as friendly and as nice as you could
Yeah.
get. I mean, it wasn't any problems at all. And even the second one, which I think was reduced down to about 125, and I rode my bike because I wanted to get the exercise.
Oh,
So
that's
that was
good.
kind of cool. I've never done that before. And then, of course, the third one I didn't participate, and it was only about 34 people. So all of them have been peaceful. I mean,
Yeah.
the black and whites was peaceful. I mean, I think Front Royal is a real melting pot of different thoughts. I give them that
is.
much.
Yeah.
But everybody seems to, respect each other's property, and I don't really. I can't understand some of the other places that seem to be so much
Right.
more
It's
violent
different.
and everything.
It's
yeah.
different. And the Blue Parade was another one that was really well. And I think here in Front Royal, you know what it is? You have these businesses and you have cameras, right?
Right.
Everyone in Front Royal knows everyone else. So if you are going to act up and throw a brick through someone's window, they're going to know exactly who you are. And
Right.
like for me, if they don't know who I am by some chance, they know my mom.
Right.
Or they know somebody that they're going to call and they're going to say, so and so was down there doing this. We have that within our community. We have that kind of built in. Everybody knows everybody, so we can kind of report in with other people about their kids, for instance, which is good. So no, I think everything's been peaceful, but we could have saved some money if we
Yeah.
were utilizing volunteers versus paid staff.
Well,
of course, you have to have some paid staff.
Well, but look, it was a situation where there was fear.
Yes.
And if when I look at everything that's happened around here, I saw two areas which I lived in here now for 14 years that I saw. The first one was when the kids got killed in Florida,
Oh yeah.
and they wanted to do the little memorial down at the gazebo there, and there was a group that felt that was more a gun issue, not so much a memorial.
Oh.
And there was a lot of people because they had to put up barriers for the first time, and there was people that were out with their guns right across the street from the people who were doing the memorial, and the parents got nervous
Right.
and wouldn't let them read it. So I mean, that was kind of
Wow.
a thing. And then the fear, I think, on the first demonstration was, there's 2 bus loads of people coming in is going
Right.
to cause trouble. And I think if you can alleviate that fear,
Right.
then you can go back to somewhat normal and let people express themselves in any way. But I think we got caught up in a national thing
Right.
of fear.
And we brought it down into the
And we
national
brought
level,
it right
or the
down
local,
into the
yeah.
local level,
And we
yeah.
didn't have that at all. And I didn't see any
Nah.
buses.
No,
They were saying the same thing in Winchester, the same exact story.
Yeah.
There's 2 buses coming, and I was like,
Yeah.
could be the same 2 buses,
Well,
2 different
apparently
buses.
somebody had called every small town all over, and they've
Yeah.
done that. So I hope we don't have to.
And fear just it pushes a lot of things, and it's not good. It's just not healthy.
It's not healthy for anybody.
No.
But let's go back, because a lot of the candidates that I've interviewed were talking about this community policing. And you're absolutely right. Back probably about 10 years ago, Front Royal had one of the most active ones. When I was involved, they had about 40 or 60 VIPs, they call them volunteer
That's-
in policing.
Pretty big.
They had an advisory board that had something almost like 30 people on it. They created the foundation back then, the police foundation. And I think they still have the foundation, a much smaller advisory board. But the big key on that one was they had like 8 to 12 neighborhood watches, I think they call them,
Yeah.
which, kind of self-policed.
Right.
And now with video cameras, I don't think you can get away with anything, do you?
No.
Yeah.
Not the new ring systems and everything that we have now, And we still have a sign in our neighborhood, so I'm assuming there's a neighborhood watch. I don't know who's on that neighborhood watch, but it's right across the street from a house.
Well, I think that was from.
might have been.
I think it's kind of like a monument or something sitting there. We had it at one time. And that
At
was
one
it,
time we had this.
At one time we had it. So you would be active and support something like that?
Oh, of course. And I think when I think of community policing, or community, like the neighborhood watches.
Right.
I envision, like myself, if I were to live in a neighborhood where I knew some sort of activity was going on and I felt
Right.
comfortable, I would go and say, kind of noticed, can we not do that?
Right.
And have a conversation. Maybe that solves the issue. Who knows? Because maybe they thought they were being extra sneaky and nobody knew what was going on.
Sure,
and maybe
sure.
down there like, oh, maybe we should stop. Or, you call the police. Like, you don't need to go out there and, take complete matters into your own hands.
Well, I think
By all means.
I think if you can solve the problem without
Right.
having to get the police bin and say, "Hey, stop
Right.
that."
Yeah.
I know when I grew up here many years ago that I did something not so good, and my neighbor said to me, "Now, do you want me to tell your dad? You better get down here and clean that up." And oh, please don't tell my
Right.
dad. No, I'll do it. I'll clean it up.
Anything
I'm
but
sorry."
calling my parents.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
oh my goodness, you did not want anybody calling
No.
your parents. I had like 9 fathers on our block. You
Yeah.
couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times we need to get back to that. Like
Yeah,
if
I
you
think-
see my kid out, my kid's acting up, you
you
have
call
every
them.
right to say don't do that, and I'm going to tell your mom.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree.
I do not mind.
Yeah. Well, do you, if you got more of this community policing, do you think that would help the drug issues and stuff?
I think it does.
How
Well,
do you,
yeah.
how do you think that would work?
You have even more people who are looking, who
Right.
are watching, who are essentially patrolling, even if they're just driving to, I don't know, Walmart or Rural King or wherever you ride to. I don't know, but you essentially have more people
I
who
catch
are
the
watching
bus out to
and catch the bus.
out to Walmart. I catch the bus.
Oh my goodness! But you have more people that are out there looking, and more people who are involved, more people who have some sort of skin in the game, almost like.
Okay.
So I think that's a great idea, and I know that it's not all the time a comfortable subject, but we talk about police offices or police organizations looking more like the communities that they serve.
Yeah. Okay.
So in our community, of course, we have, just like you said, we're a melting pot. So we have just about every race represented, right?
Yes.
Different cultures and everything else. And I think for me, it would be wonderful if our volunteer organization, at bare minimum, could represent those different groups, the different groups of people. Just because I think it's important,
Yeah.
and then for the kids too, to see, people who look like them that are serving, and a lot of that problem has just been the lack of interest. Some of it has been the lack of interest of other parties to participate in becoming officers or even volunteering, and I'd really like to push for that when
Well, no,
looking for
I-
volunteers and really urging everyone to get involved.
I think community involvement is key,
Mm-hmm.
and if you give them some mechanisms to do it, I think but they got to show up, right? They gotta-
Yes, you got to show up.
Yeah.
I can't, I'm not going to go like pull people out of their house. Like I need you.
I think that's another country that you do stuff like that.
Yeah, not here.
Not here.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, because one of the other couple big issues that you'll be facing, of course, is Front Royal and its economic growth.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice what's happening last weekend, not yesterday because it rained, but what do they call them, peepers or whatever they
Yes.
are. It was very difficult getting around town on Saturday when it's a nice day.
Yeah,
And they make up a lot of tourism.
they do.
So we don't have the best entryway trying to get to the drive there.
Yeah.
What's some of your ideas that you would push the council to see if they can grab a little bit more tourism, because they did get rid of the tourist department. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you think should be done to try to drive economic growth? I mean, just rough things, because how complicated this is.
Yes, it's super complicated.
So what do you think of some of the things you're thinking about with this new council coming in that you would recommend to grow the economy here?
To grow the economy, that's a really good one. Well, first, I'd like to get some other companies coming in.
Yeah.
We need that offer jobs that are paying more than minimum wage.
Right.
So fast food, while having options on fast food is great, they're not paying so well all the time.
No.
So we need jobs that are paying better, so that we don't have people who are having to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours away just to find the more of a livable kind of wage. So I think that's important. How do I necessarily attract those businesses?
Yeah.
Well, I know that first we have to make sure that our schools are in order. That's a big one. Actually having places where if a bigger company were to come here, where is their workforce going to stay?
Right.
Do we have enough people here currently that could fit their requirements for them? Another key to, of course, any economic development in a small town is revitalizing our main street, our downtown area. But of course that expands beyond there. But you start there because it's the center of your town. That's how
Right.
I see that. It's the center of your town. You start there and build your way out.
Right.
So I'd like to see all sorts of different businesses. I'd like to see more entrepreneurs come out and have good ideas and set up shop. We have another not a smoothie shop, a healthy shakes place coming where Ebony and Ivory used to be.
Right. Oh, is
Downtown.
that going down?
Yeah.
I knew it was empty, but I didn't know it was going to be filled.
Yep. So one less empty building on Main Street, which is always nice.
Yeah, because they had a little run there for a while. Looks like
Yeah.
they were pretty empty.
And the peepers, I mean, you can't, as frustrating as it can be for us getting around, like, I think at some point you kind of just know where they're going to be.
Right.
And you just do your grocery
I
shopping.
think we only got
different
another 2 weeks of it.
Yeah, because it's pretty
They're
much
dropping
dying down.
fast,
They
yeah.
are, but the police officers have been out there
Oh, no,
doing
they
the
have.
traffic
They-
patrols and those different things. And there's just I don't see us making that road any bigger. Just for those couple of weeks. But they do bring in a lot of revenue. So that's what I keep saying when I see the comments on Facebook. I see people are like, "Oh my gosh, they're here," and I'm like, please understand, this is like Black Friday for a lot of small
Yeah,
businesses.
It's better to get their money
Yes.
than it is we have to pay for it through
Exactly.
taxes.
And I'm like, you want them to come in and they pay, extra for all their meals taxes and stuff, or would you like to supplement that?
Yeah, I don't want
Nobody
to
wants to. I don't want to.
supplement
I don't want to do
that.
that.
I don't want to do that. well, two things. You had mentioned about a place for people to live.
Yes.
And what do you think a solution to that is? Because it is. I've talked to some people. They said they couldn't find any place to rent here.
Yes, it's hard.
And now what's happening? You got a lot of people coming out of the city to get away from the pandemic. Now
Yeah.
it's a hot real estate market as far as
Oh,
housing goes.
yes.
So what do you think you can do about that here?
Well, again, I'm on another group. And
Another group.
Yes,
Another group. Okay.
Yes, it's great. But trying to get some workforce housing in here. And just like we were talking about just a little bit earlier with the teachers and those coming in, they're making above that poverty line, so they don't qualify for any
Right.
assistance. But they could use some sort of help to get them into something that's affordable for their budgets.
Right.
And so I think that's what we need. We need more workforce housing. We're going to have to look at some of those like townhouses. It's not going to be necessarily individual houses sitting on an acre or anything like that. We're going to have to start looking at townhouses. We don't have a lot of property here in Front Royal proper
Really?
to build.
So you say you're working with another group. What is
Yes.
this?
It's the Warren County Isaiah Project. It's
Oh.
very new, so probably the first time anybody's heard that name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You heard it first here.
Exclusive.
As an exclusive.
But yeah, the Warren County Isaiah Project is just going to deal with a couple of different things. And that's the same group some of the same members that we're working on when it comes to this youth center and with the workforce housing, just an all-encompassing kind of organization that's community-oriented. So it's very
And what's this,
exciting.
you're part of a local board or something? Is that how
We
it-
are just forming. I wouldn't officially call it a board, but we've got some great people. So we
But
have,
you got some
yeah.
great people that want to support
Yes,
this, right?
yes, we do. Very blessed that way.
Yeah, okay. So a lot of leaders in the community and stuff that really want to see
Mm-hmm.
this done.
And hopefully we'll have some more news to come in and talk to
So
you
you're
about
not
at some
going to
point.
spill the beans on any of it.
I don't
yet,
have
do you?
any beans to spill to you right now. But we have some some really good community partners, and the projects have a potential to be just huge wins all around.
But for the audience here,
Uh-huh.
I mean, we got in trouble, I think, a couple times because there's a difference between affordable housing and workforce housing,
Yes.
right? And at one point, we were trying to get some workforce housing,
Right.
but the cost of the workforce housing was well beyond the ability for the people to
Yes.
actually pay for them, right?
Yes.
So how is what you want to do different than?
So I think initially when the conversation had come up and I had seen some figures, I think the initial workforce housing thing was talking about apartments that were going to cost like $1,200 a month. For
yeah.
apartments.
Yeah.
But no. So with this, we're talking more about townhomes that they could come in and own versus rent, which is a huge one. And of course, when we're talking affordable, everyone imagines housing projects like
Right. I mean,
what we've
that's
seen
what
in New York.
scares her.
Yeah.
That's what scares everybody.
And then you're like, you're going to bring the drugs and all these bad things are going to happen. But that's not what we're looking at at all. It's definitely workforce housing. It's for those who are working and they're in a normal market, they would have a harder time finding something suitable.
Right.
So we'd like to be able to not give them. Of course, they're going to be paying for this.
Right, yeah. But they will actually own it.
Yes.
And then what I understand is be some subsidies from
Right.
programs, grants and stuff that will help people to get to that
Right.
point. But they can't move out within a year.
No.
You have to stay there for a while. So you're
Right.
looking at long-term residents, right?
Exactly. Yes,
Okay.
and that's how that helps us with the teachers because we were just talking about the turnover
Yeah.
with the teachers because they're going somewhere else for more money. But why would you wouldn't need to do that if you had a home that you could comfortably afford to live here and work here, right?
Right.
Yeah. And just like you said, a lot of people are moving here from the city, and they're looking for the luxury homes, believe it or not.
What do you think? All right.
They are, because anybody can work from anywhere now. So they don't have to
True.
stay in New York at their $1,600 a month efficiency.
That's right.
You come down here and you're living like a
You
king.
can go down to the dog park and walk your dog.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is, truly. It really
You
is.
get a backyard. You have all these, these things. So yeah, the luxury housing market. I was reading that in the LBM, the latest LBM issue. I think I got.
That means all of our values are going to go up, right?
I guess it's possible.
Yeah. Well, I got in a little trouble because I used to say that Front Royal could be the Aspen of the East, and I took a lot of heat on that one. So
I'm sure
maybe
you
that's,
did.
so that might be true. It might be true coming. So
Well, yeah, well, we're gonna hope for like some moderation, I guess, like a little middle ground in there. I don't need to be the Aspen.
well, this is great, Latasha. Really enjoy you coming in. I got one other burning question I have to ask.
Oh
you.
no,
Yeah,
what is it?
I know. The town manager.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a little confusion out there. Maybe you might want to kind of clear up the confusion of exactly what's happening because
Okay.
in the past you had about 40 some odd people. You got it down to 2, and then you didn't like them, and now you're. Is the council still looking, or are they holding
yeah.
off to the end till the new council? comes
We're
in?
definitely working. We're definitely working on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. And I assume you have. I assume you have some candidates that now. Well, how's you got a service that works, right? Or
Right.
how
Yes.
it
So
works?
the organization Baker Tilly. We kept the same organization. Nothing
Okay.
changed there. No huge
Nothing
additional
changed, okay.
expenses. Nothing like that at all. And no, we're still definitely working on replacing the town manager.
So they're trying to bring more new candidates for
Yes.
them. What they review them first, and then they give you the top 2 or 3 or 4.
It's a whole process.
Yeah.
A really good, detailed, thorough process that I appreciate. It's really good.
So you think you're going to have a new one in place before end of December?
Look, I know I'm getting close. We're almost at November, right?
Well, you got
So,
you got 6 more weeks left. I didn't know whether
it's possible. Anything's possible. We could potentially have somebody in there to start fresh with the new council. I mean,
Okay.
it's possible. And if we don't, then you know what? That's going to be part of their training by fire. Like
okay.
now you get to review this and let us.
Well, thank God you've
do
been
this.
there for 2 years because now you can actually lead them through the process, right?
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think we're all of one mind. We
Okay.
want the absolute best person we can get in this position, and we don't want it to be where they're here just a really short time and they're gone,
Yeah.
but would really like somebody who's here and here for a
You want
good period of
continuity.
time.
You want continuity.
Because adjusting to new people and stuff like that, like it's already hard enough, and then to switch managers is hard. Like right now, if by chance we get a new manager, well, we're gonna have a new manager either
Right.
way. Whether it's end of this year, next year, whatever it is, there's gonna be another one. This will be my third one, in 3 years.
Right.
So it's different. It keeps you on your toes, I guess. So yeah, I would prefer if we could do it before the new council got there. So then they start with one person and kind of go through this process.
Fresh.
Yes, exactly.
That's good. So I have to ask you one last question.
Okay.
Term limits on councilmen. Do you think
Oh my
we
gosh.
should have like 6-year terms versus 4-year terms now?
No, I think 4-year terms are fine. 4-year terms are fine. And but I do believe in term limits. Like
Right.
I think that maybe you serve twice
Yeah.
and you're done.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think that it should be a career.
Right.
I do not think that at all. I think at that point when we get into like these career-long things, that's when we start hearing, that can't work, and you don't really get a lot of fresh and new ideas
New
going.
ideas. Yeah.
So I think that's a hindrance. And I just don't think anybody should sit on town council for, 16 years. Like, why?
Well, do you think like the mayor should have a 4-year term just like the councilman?
I don't really understand, if I'm being completely honest, I don't understand why the mayor is 2 years versus
Right.
4 years.
I
I
have
really
no
don't.
idea, no.
I guess maybe to help with the turnover with the half is gone and
I don't
I
know.
have no idea. But I think 4 years would be appropriate, especially if somebody has to leave early, like we had, and then somebody's just there for a couple months and they have to rerun, and
Right.
it gets a little complicated. I also think, like, so just for example, like, so Chris is running, but his seat is not, his term as a councilman isn't over.
Right.
And so I think it's great that he's running for mayor, is what he wants to do. His seat is then going to be open.
Right.
I think in those instances, and I've talked about this with Chris before too, just brought it up, like, instead of us appointing somebody, why don't we go back and say, okay, well, this person was the fourth runner-up in the election, right? And just that person gets first run on it. It could be a year later, so their lives might have changed. Maybe they can no longer do this, but they at least get the first opportunity. Like, that a seat is now open, you got fourth place. Are you still able to come in and take this seat? If they say no, then at that point we'd go out and, through that process. But I think that's better because that person went through the campaign process. They got votes.
Right.
And I think that feels better to the people, the way that, we're talking to people, well, how do you appoint? Like, how does this happen? And people think it's more of you're putting friends there. You're trying to stack it to some degree. And that's not necessarily the case. So I think that's the fairest way to do it. This person got fourth. They have votes.
Right.
Let's do that.
Well, next time you come back, I won't ask you this time.
Okay.
Next time you come back, I want to get your thoughts, because I think this is very valuable for the community. I know my wife and daughter was out the other day, and someone commented that when I was interviewed about being a town manager, they thought that was very valuable because they had no idea what a town manager does in Sumner district. We now have a mechanism through the Royal Examiner to try to just talk with the councilman to come in and talk like we're talking about how you feel, because you get in these meetings and everybody's like mad at you and fussing at you and everything else, and you're just a human being just like everybody else trying to make the right decision. And sometimes it gets you to do these things, or it makes people understand exactly this is not the easiest job in the world.
No, it by far is not. And I think that was probably the biggest learning curve for me, was to know that there are some people who are extremely angry and will come and will express themselves, but I always listen, and I'm always looking at the person, no matter if it's something I agree with or I don't agree with, but I'm always paying attention. But it's not an easy job, and so I don't want anybody to come in thinking it's going to be easy, because it's not easy. I didn't come in necessarily thinking it was easy. I just didn't know people would be so angry, so passionate. Let's go with passionate.
Passionate.
Yes, passionate about certain issues. And I mean, it's good. It's a learning experience. But at the end of the day, everybody has the same goal. Everybody wants to be heard. Right?
No, look.
I think that's exactly what it is. Everybody wants to be heard.
That's what's going on in the country right now. Is everybody wants to be heard.
Everybody wants a voice. Everybody wants to be heard. And so I'm very respectful of that. And like I said, I listen and engage when I can, and try to solve things.
Well, Latasha, is there anything else? Did we get everything you wanted to talk about today? I mean, did we miss anything?
Go vote. I haven't voted yet, but I'm going to. Apparently Mike has. He has a mask.
Yes. And this is where
Are they available for sale?
we have a citizen that has now are producing these for us. It's I Voted 2020. And we have the information if anybody'd like to order one.
Oh, good.
Online. She has a website, which I'll make sure that Mike has when we move forward here. But Latasha, for coming in, I want to actually. Should I wait till you vote before I give you this, or do we wear it ahead of time?
I'm just gonna go vote, and then I'll wear it, because then I'm not lying, right? I don't want to say I voted and I didn't vote.
Okay. Well, here's your
well,
one
thank
there.
you.
You have that one. We have some other face masks, and then maybe on our next interview I'll show you another one, which I think is very pertinent to what we're doing.
But yeah, so I just want to make sure like nobody thinks like I'm endorsing anybody. I'm not. I like everybody that's running. I just want everybody to get out there and vote.
Right.
Go vote. If you don't vote, you can't necessarily complain.
That's what they say anyway, right?
Yeah, that's what they say. I mean,
exactly
it's not
happens,
true
right?
necessarily, but yeah. But at least if you vote, you can say, well, that's who I voted for, and
great.
That's what I want them to do.
Well, Tasha, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
I hope you come back after the election and give us some of your thoughts of what you think is going to happen. In the
yeah.
future.
Oh, that'll be exciting then.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah,
right,
of
good.
course.
Good. Well, thank you, everyone, and thank you, Latasha, for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
All right.
It's great.